Greetings and salutations and welcome to the devlog for Moons and Crystal. Specifically, this is the devlog for Monday the 22nd of July 2024. Let me start with perhaps the most salient news of late. The new demo is complete. It took longer than intended, for a number of reasons, but done it is at last. And with that, I've sent out a new wave of updates on extant pitches, as well as a wave of new pitches. Those last to a few publishers that came to my attention subsequent to the previous wave of updates. So, wish luck to me in the project, please. Of course, getting to that point involved a fair bit of work on a variety of elements. Some of this was fairly minor, a variety of tweaks, changes and fixes that don't seem worth detailing here. Things like darkening certain projectiles for visibility, fixing the placement of a UI element, and handling the saving and loading of certain level elements. Other aspects of this were troublesome. Testing uncovered some crashes. Thankfully, I think that I now have all of these fixed. One such was particularly problematic, a crash that happened only every so often and that resisted attempts at replicating it. Worse, it wasn't a Python-level crash, with which my IDE would likely have given me useful direction towards hunting it down. No, this was a memory access crash occurring somewhere within the C++ internals of the game engine. Eventually, with some work and advice, I managed to uncover the location of the crash and infer a likely cause, supported, if not undeniably, by an experiment that reproduced a similar crash under similar conditions. In short, it seems to have been a problem with multi-threading, an old bane of mine. You see, on the player's return to a moon, I was using a separate thread to enact the respawning of enemies and wildlife. It seems that this sometimes resulted in an invalid state during certain collision query. For now, my solution is to just make respawning non-threaded. It incurs a bit of a hitch on re-entering a moon, but not a major one, I feel, and one that may not be all that noticeable should I change how I handle area loading, which is something that I already have in mind. But perhaps the biggest change towards the demo was in getting multiple game modules to work. Without delving into the technicalities, which relate to Python importation and the build system being used, I now have this feature working. And indeed, the new demo makes use of this functionality to present the new content aspect separately from the main demo. Moving over to the visual side of things, I conducted further experimentation with health bars. This remains a feature that I'm uncertain about. On the one hand, they're very useful. They inform the player of how they're doing in a fight and how tough an opponent is, and even of those few occasions in which enemy health increases. On the other hand, however, I do fear that they draw attention away from the enemies themselves, that combat becomes too much a matter of watching UI bars. So, for now, they remain disabled. And finally, I added a flourish to an extant breakable, a giant rib found on the ossuary moon, which can be broken. Where previously it just disappeared, now it actually breaks and falls away. And that then is all for this devlog. Stay well and thank you for watching.